Back so soon, folks? Welcome back. I'm our fetus. Today I have a common topic that most of the internet today is aware of. Furries. Furries are enthusiasts for animal characters with human characteristics, anthropomorphic in other words. In particular, a person who dresses up in a costume as such or uses one as an avatar online. We all know them as fucking annoying though. Furries on YouTube or Reddit or any social site have personalities that make them so unlikable. Not all of them though, but for this video, y'all getting lumped together, so sorry. If the shoe fits, wear it though. If the truth hurts, bear it. Really though, if none of this applies to you, then good job. Keep on fighting the good fight. For the betterment of animal costumes, you know? Furries came from comic books in the 1970s, though they were a part of a more underground scene that has the cool adult shit. In the late 80s and early 90s, and as the internet started spreading, that's when things became a bit more connected, and it grew. More and more cons sprang up at this time, and surprisingly so did glory holes, the sale of condoms, and Axe body spray. Websites, zines, e-zines, smelly tweens, and unwashed peen were rife in the early boom of furries, and with that came society trying to swat them away with the broom, like Tom and Jerry shit. It has always been known that furries suck because in the 80s, people called the police to those events. One person even fucking using a fax machine to block a con. They couldn't sell porno at the con under some alcohol license shit, which is absolutely amazing to know people did autistic shit before 4chan, you know? What a mad lad! Taking a quick sidestep here to give you all a piece of gamer trivia though. MMORPG as a genre started with Ultima Online and Meridian, but did you know that furries created the second or I think third MMO ever? It was essentially Ultima Online, but for furs, and I believe they had one of the first virtual chat games too, beating out IMVU, Habbo Hotel, Club Penguin, and shit like that. Knowing that early cons began with sexual degeneracy in public though, I would go as far to say they probably had the grossest ERPs too. I would love to see how people reacted to that though back in the day. There are whole entire communities on Reddit dedicated to make fun of those chats and video games, and there's smaller subreddits that laugh at the asterisk texters, you know? Asterisk, bulge in my pants gets bigger and you hear it type shit. I just want to know what kind of shit was said back then. It's wonderful. Most furries nowadays identify as gay or other, where 10 to 20% identify as unconverted. You know, you got to keep on trying, folks. Look at it like this. The second you convert all the straight furs you have, you can drop being a fandom and join the alphabet. You get your own letter. Straights can't be in the alphabet because the law on Twitter fucking says so. But if you convert the straights to gay agenda, then you get your own alphabet letter on that long ass list, beating out maps or whatever it was trying to do a few years ago. We all know you love inserting yourselves in everything just to cry about it and make it kinky, or all about your kink, so go ahead and shoot for the fucking moon. A couple years ago, I remember on Twitter there was a shit show around Anthro Northwest, A&W. It was kind of dancing on the ashes that was Rainforest, which, watch Internet Historian's video on that. Those furries were fucking pissed that someone more competent and less diaper degenerate wanted to run the region's fur cons. And I think A&W actually had the respect and actual ability to do so. And, oh God, Rainforest furries were pissed. And while things were gearing up, you know, while they were arguing online, things were gearing up. Some fucking cucker spaniels from a podcast that were outraged because fetish gear was banned. And the Furry Convention Board argued, saying they wanted to be family friendly. And of course, Cloud of Furries felt entitled to complain. It included the ban of collars, is what it was. It was fetish gear and collars was a part of that. Because since the beginning of my knowledge on sex, since I lost my virginity, understood what that shit was, I considered humans wearing collars a fetish thing, even if it is worn as a part of an outfit non-sex related. But those simple yiffers cried enough to get them allowed. But that wasn't good enough. They didn't get their leather gear in front of kids, so they went for more blood. They went for more blood by finding a furry that was doing a panel or some kind of fucking show and going after his private life. I think it was just, the private part was, he was a part of a fucking church that was a sect of Christianity that didn't agree with same-sex marriage, I believe. So furries started tweeting saying they weren't allowed to go because of fucking religious shit. I don't know. It's all disingenuous, and another example is why furries are fucking hated. You get someone with clout, and they just gotta make it about themselves and just ruin shit for everybody. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest here. I had a completely different video planned and scripted. I wanted to come out with a bang, but I also wanted some laughs. And I woke up this morning and reread the script and listened to the audio I recorded, and I was not impressed with how angry and hateful and targeted I came off. And in this odd world that we live in, I'm not here to create hate or to contribute to hate, but to laugh at things, people, and situations I personally find ridiculous. Like, I'm going off on furries right here, but I'm just talking shit. I don't give a fuck. I can avoid them and never see them ever again. I'll be fine. And because of that, I can make fun of them because there's no emotion behind it. But so I apologize if going further, some of this shit seems kind of disjointed. I completely redid everything after this, and I tried to fill in as much gaps as I could. Apologize with that. Let's continue. When you're on the internet for as long as I've been and travel to the many corners inside, you will encounter some bizarre people and situations within subcultures. Actually, you don't even need to be on the internet long to stumble into weirdness in 2022, but I die of grass. I die of grass. Furries as a subculture have a large portion absolutely unbearable, and then have a portion that you wouldn't know is furry unless you were a bit closer to the individuals. Then you have the chunk of pie that represents the most annoying of them. And in 2020, that was a weird year for that small fucking piece. Like, alright, in 2020 we had Medicare cashing out his copper pieces at the saloon before the great dust storm swept through and gave us the coof, disappearing until further notice. And I guess he was infected with the /B cancer they always say is killing that board. And he left, COVID hit. And around that same time, we had the George Floyd riots, which was absolutely perfectly timed with the virus hitting. And then furries decided to go up in arms on Twitter to fight for or against the police. Yes, divide. What's even worse is the furry fandom is radicalized politically and will fight each other with essentially blue lives versus black lives bullshittery. You have furries attacking Paw Patrol and photoshopping them into whatever stupid thing they can think is going to sting the most. I should mention this, but furries are very persistent, but have no idea how to interact and insult people properly. So this internet war with some police furs arguing against BLM and BLM making art in return is about the best example of them I can find that shows how they battle. A community that will band together to fight a troll who is way too obvious in their trolling, but is completely divided on social issues. I was joking about them joining the alphabet though, because half these dumb motherfuckers will be arrested by Antifa fur, and police furs will make Antifa furs bite the curb. Quite a beautiful dumpster fire if I do say so myself. So while a big portion of the community online is divided and fighting, you have some outliers that become shining examples of why people point and laugh or just kick and bang when they see a furry. Signs you are in the presence of pure evil is these outliers have an attraction to loud hyper pop type music and bright enough colors. It'll blind a gay person with sunglasses. There are types of people that will fight for subjects like pro-shipping, which is the idea of allowing the shipping of family members, minors, and animals, I think. The war is a long-fought battle, but anti-shippers, the people against including minors, incest, and zoo with shipping, are absolutely in the right, but are just as fucking retarded in internet combat. That was so fucking lame. Not going to show any of the art here because, well, I don't want to fucking see it. but ask someone on the forums for images. It's pretty nightmarish. Then, on top of their online spurgatory, you got zoos. And I will not give the definition here in case some of you don't really know what it is, but just pay attention to this context and you'll get the idea. No need to come across some pictures or getting put on a list when Googling it. There are some people that will abuse an animal and then act like it's not an issue or that it's okay. So, fuck. There's a story of a currently popular furfaggio. So I ended up agreeing. He told me that he had found a guy with a dog and it would make a lot more money than regular porn. Especially because most bestiality porn is fat girls and they pay better for skinny attractive girls like you. I was very, very uncomfortable with this and did not want to do anything that would ruin my life. He told me my face could be hidden. I reluctantly agreed after he impressed upon me that we were very poor and could use the money. We drove a few hours and ended up somewhere in the middle of nowhere. We were at a garage where an old guy worked. He had a Great Dane. I was not remotely into the situation, and when I first laid down and tried to get ready for it, I was very dry. I needed a lot of lube in order for it to be remotely plausible. The old man asked me if he could touch me while I was trying to use a dildo to prepare, and I did not feel safe saying no. So I ended up technically consenting, but I felt like I was being due to feeling coerced to an extreme degree. My experience with the dog itself felt like it was the single most physically painful event in my life, and I ended up blacking out at a lot of the details of the encounter. I honestly cannot tell you much about it at all. As a result, I hated doing it. I hated everything about it. I cried because of how much it hurt me. While I was in pain, the old man asserted this was the sexy part of it, and salivated over how hot it must be for me. This experience was 1,000 times worse than being by my father. It was nothing short of both for me and for the poor dog who had been trained into this role by his abusive owner. I felt very bad for the dog, who seemed to notice and act sad that I was in pain, unlike Marl or the old man. It was overall a very upsetting experience, and I spent the entire hours-long car ride home feeling shell-shocked. The old man had apparently had an error with the camera, and we were not paid, or Marl was paid and I was not told, or Marl misled me and payment was never on the table. It was a horrible act that had happened for no fucking reason. Marl acted very upset on the way home. Neither of us spoke. We got home and he went to sulk in the bedroom. I was appalled, because I had not been the one hurt. I had been the one hurt, and yet Marl was the one sulking. I didn't know how to process it at all. He was very upset and pitied himself for it not being as hot as he envisioned it. He didn't comfort me at all. He didn't care that I got hurt. He was only upset that I was acting like it was incredibly hot, and that I wasn't acting like it was incredibly hot, and that instead I was acting like it was abusive altogether. He refused to hear me talk about how much it hurt and how much I didn't like it. Well, you stayed with him, and you said yes. So, this fucking using a whole bunch of sexual assault buzzwords, doesn't fucking make it okay. Or it doesn't excuse the fact that you fucking did it and are still going on like it, like it didn't happen. I think a lot of furries would agree with normal people that abuse is fucking sick. But my issue comes from them knowing it exists, but not active in calling it out or rooting it out in larger groups. Why does it take some big event or piece of drama to go semi-viral for anyone to do shit about it as a big group? Sorry, that's not this video. That's not what this video is about. I'm gonna move on. Sorry. I ain't calling for war. There exists some online that think being a furry is mental illness akin to body dysmorphia or schizophrenia. I'm unsure how true that is, but some notable furries themselves try to collect the best ones for clout and simpy coins.
You come out here and try to get the simpy of the people!
Going through threads, Twitters, and YouTubes, you see people use mental illness as an excuse for bad behavior. I wish I was able to do this when dealing with the police, because running with one taser barb in your fucking arm and the other hooked in your shirt while blasting through fences and trees sucks. And playing DayZ, if someone calls me out or holds me up while I'm camping fresh spawns, I would just say, "Hey man, sorry, I didn't take my medicine. I have ADHD and anxiety because my and then they handcuff me and feed me cleansing spray. The proper way to deal with these offenses, by the way. Only on DayZ, of course. I could go on and on about them, but I'm trying to avoid certain subjects too much and picking too hard and too deep. Many things here to point and laugh at or to avoid encountering pure evil altogether anyways. Like, their most heinous act is sexualizing Tony the fucking Tiger. Yiffin' hell. If you have not done anything I mentioned here and are quick to calling out bullshittery, I commend you. But go somewhere else. Nah, I'm playing. And for the rest of y'all, I hope you had a chuckle or maybe learned something new today. Or even have a guy not to be made fun of online. More shit to come, and if you have anything you'd like me to look at and share with others for some entertainment, comment below. I don't have a Discord, because why would I be in a Discord when it's only me in it? But I do have a Twitter, and I'll post that below. Have a good one, motherfuckers. Oh yeah, don't bully people unless it's on DayZ or Tarkov. Peace.